I'm going to say 0% chance if we lose to Ole Miss.
Hello, welcome into TexAgs Rewind. I am David Nuño. I got Luke Evangelos here with me. And Luke, I don't know if you heard. Were you listening on the headphones?
Yeah.
Our friend Nick Savage did not like that I paired basketball with football, and I want him to speak for his actions.
Yeah, it looks awful. It truly does look awful.
What's wrong with it?
It really needs my magic touch.
What,
the set design is just...
Do you don't like the...
I thought you worked in TV, David.
You don't like the spacing? Is that what you don't like?
I love looking at the bottom of the top of the TexAgs logo and the bottom of the A&M logo on the basketball. That looks fantastic.
Couldn't you have told me to fix that before we went?
Well, I just figured it would be common sense.
Okay. Do you think, from my view, I can see that? Unless I look up there.
Yes.
All right. Kay Nagley's going to sneak into. No, let them see you. This is a professional show. There we go. All right. Thank you, Kay.
That still looks pretty bad.
I needed about 6 inches this way and to the right. And no. Luke, what was your favorite part of the show?
Tom Hart.
Why?
He's always good.
That's
Even when he cuts out in the middle, he's still probably saying something insightful. We just aren't blessed enough to hear it.
I want you to give me something particular that you like from Tom Hart. I don't want these canned responses. I want some depth in your thoughts.
Talking about comparing bubble resumes.
There we go. Now you're providing some value to the audience. Nick, what else was on the show today?
Kay asked me if that looked any better. By the way, it doesn't. But we had you and OB talking about Manny Obaski named SEC co-player of the week. SEC tournament expectations with Justin Lanham. He was kind of giving his thoughts on if they beat Ole Miss, if they don't beat Ole Miss, what happens then? Tori Vidales, SEC Network softball analyst, have to talk about Trisha Ford's Aggies. They're rolling. And like you mentioned, Tom Hart on the SEC Network.
It's the Rewind. Check it out.
Well, it'd have to be old Mo, Manny Obaski. I mean, he, like Luke was just telling us, he's just emerged over the last 4 games, but the last 2 especially. He's been the difference.
Yeah. So, Luke, do you remember when I started talking about Manny before he started playing? I don't know, like a month ago, I started saying, am I about?
Yeah, you manifested it.
Well, I don't know if I did, but
he manifested it.
But
it's been a Manny feast.
And I think I brought it up initially with Justin Lanham, who's going to be on the show later. But the reason I wanted to have Manny get the ball more, because I was like, he's the one guy on this team that can handle the ball. I don't like when he handles the ball too much. Let me go ahead and be honest about that. Can attack the rim. He's a little erratic, but he brings an athleticism offensively that isn't so predictable as what we've seen A&M do. And I think somewhat we've seen that in play, because when he does have the ball, now people are thinking about him. And when they weren't thinking about him, he went straight to the hole.
Yeah, he gets points in the paint. And sometimes it looks like there's no way he's going to score. He's strong. He can get off a shot, and you think it's not going to go. And sometimes he muscles his way in there, and sometimes he just contorts his body. There's a reason he was a 5-star. I think he was a 5-star guy. And now he's playing like it.
So I look at those numbers and it worries me. I'm going to be real honest. I am one of these guys, like, if that's not what I think your game is, you better stop while you're ahead. He is 6 of 9 from the 3-point line. That is not a sustainable number for most 3-point shooters, much less a guy that I don't think that's his game. But, buddy, you're on fire. Keep it going.
Yeah, I think what he's also doing is he's taking a lot of the emphasis off of Wade Taylor.
Okay.
And I think that's, Wade was in a slump for quite a while. Well, the last 2 games, Wade's actually shot the ball much better.
Give me a percentage that they still will find a way to get into the tournament, percentage number, and give me your why.
I'm going to say 0% chance if we lose to Ole Miss. I think just the body of – I think there's still work out there from other teams. I think partly it has to do with us, but I think there's also work out there from other teams where other teams are going to steal bids from us. At that point, I think the committee is going to be looking elsewhere to find somebody else to plug in, and just the perception of having lost on the – I know it's not the first day, but essentially the first game for us in the SEC tournament. I don't like the way that would probably be perceived as well.
All right. They beat Ole Miss. Percentage they get in.
Man, right now, for me, I'm gonna go 55%, just above 50. Just because I still think the quad 1 wins, our strength of schedule. Like, to me, it's just for me, it's upsetting if we don't get in, because I feel like we scheduled harder this year, And it's like, are we going to get rewarded for that? And don't get me wrong, I get it. I know the quad 3 losses. I understand, what everybody else is going to say about that. I get it. But at the same time, the strength of schedule that we played this year, I would hope that we would get rewarded for some of those wins. So I'm going to go 55%, somewhat optimistic there, in hopes that we get in.
All right. They get past Ole Miss. They beat Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm going to say 100% because I think, as hot as Kentucky is right now and how I think they're kind of like everybody's dark horse right now to possibly contend for a national championship. I'm not saying that everybody thinks they're going to win it necessarily, but they are kind of like lingering there, and people are like, Kentucky could possibly get there. So I think everybody understands that. And I think that would just be another huge win for us. So I'm going to go 100% there if we win 2 games.
This A&M softball team, what a great start. Just your thoughts on what's clicking here with Trisha.
Yeah, it's been a really hot start for them. I think really this year you see the culture shift, right? You see the first year, Trisha Ford comes in, it's kind of getting to know everybody. Hey, how are you doing? This year, you're kind of really getting down to the nitty gritty. You're already instilled that culture that you want the team to play with and that you want the girls to have. And so I think this year you're kind of seeing that come to fruition and really having that like kill or be killed mindset that Ford wants them to have.
Tori, one of the things that strikes me when I get to talk to her, I mean, she is very likable, kind of casual, but then when it's business time, it is business time.
Oh, yeah. She likes to call herself a psycho on game days. I think it's hilarious because it's almost like she's the one competing, right? She gets really locked in. She has her exact routine. She's very anal about, the color shoe she wears or the color shirt that they wear. And I think that goes back to the little details that she pays attention to. And I think that she kind of passes on to the players to pay attention to. And it's good to have, someone with that kind of emotion that you can almost mirror in your competition. So I think they've learned a little bit of that from her, but I think she gives them a voice, right? That's like her number one thing that she wants to be able to give to these players is for them to find their own voice as they come through the program. So I think she's done a really good job at not only like holding them accountable as their coach, but also like loving on them and making sure that they know that they can feel comfortable to kind of become who they are meant to become in college softball.
Tori Vidales, obviously a 2-time All-American and an Olympian. You can find her work at the SEC Network. Tori, this weekend they sweep South Carolina. I just want to kind of get into like how difficult that is, especially a ranked South Carolina team. And A&M is still a team that is on the rise, but we don't know them yet. We're starting to know them.
Yeah, the sweep this weekend, very atypical just in the sense of you don't hear much about sweeps in the SEC because it is so competitive, and especially another team that's ranked like South Carolina. I actually was coming into the series thinking like, wow, these two teams are really evenly matched.
I don't think there's any doubt. There's a very fine line between player empowerment, which I think most people are for, and player entitlement. A good example is player empowerment. Hey, like, I've won a lot of games for you. I've sold a lot of jerseys and put people in the stands. I deserve a cut. Okay, yes, let's empower you to take advantage of that. Player entitlement is, give me $10,000 or I'm not visiting. What? You haven't played a down of college football and you demand $10,000 just to come on a visit? That's, I think, a fine line. And all of it, in my opinion, and there's some Freudian guesswork going on here, but what happens in some scenarios, and I'm convinced of this, is let's take a nice round number. Let's say a player is getting paid $400,000 and he's a second string guy. Okay, that happens at the highest levels of play, and you start demanding things of him. He thinks he's better than he is, and one of the reasons he thinks he's better than he is, or he doesn't need to develop and he's already arrived, is because he's looking at his paycheck and he's going, hold on a second. I'm making $400,000 a year. I'm obviously good. Otherwise, you wouldn't be paying me $400,000. Well, no. The market value dictates we needed to get you on campus. We need to get you in uniform and on the field. But your play dictates that you still have a long way to go, and you need to continue your development and be coached. And that coaching might be on the field. It might be in the film room. It might be in the weight room. And I think some of these guys, it's just hard to convince them of that when you're telling them one thing and then you're conflating that by handing them a check for more money than they've ever seen, and then in some scenarios is close to, you know, what professionals are getting paid. So I don't doubt that at all, and it's not just a problem for the college coaches, but obviously now it's taking root at the next level.
All right, I'm going to allow both of you to answer this question. Nick, you go first. Who's my favorite Aggie basketball player, and why?
It's the Tarleton gentleman. Tarleton,
not of all
coach.
Time. This year's roster.
Oh, okay.
Joseph Jones.
Well,
No,
yeah,
I love
Joseph Jones. That's who I thought you were talking about.
Right now.
Manny Obaski. No, Anderson Garcia. Who am I kidding?
Why?
Because he likes to fight. Oh, I'm not going to say what I want to say. I'm not going to.
Luke,
I'll say it. No, I won't. Because he
we're not a part of that community.
Yeah,
Luke.
yeah. The rebounding community. I'm a part of the rebounding community.
Part of that.
Yeah,
the rebounding community.
I love all my Aggie basketball players the same, just like my children. Okay, except the ones who get in trouble, then they're on the bottom of the list. But none of these Aggies are getting in trouble. Luke, tell the people what to do.
Like, comment, subscribe, turn the notification bell on. Never miss anything that TexAgs posts, because you're going to follow TexAgs on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram.
It's hypnotizing
Threads,
if you just look into his eyes. My
everything.
gosh.
This was a really long outro. We'll see you next time.